Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Michael. This is Strata Live. We're coming at you on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Zoom, and on Instagram Live. And we are glad to have you here with us. We are going to talk about some exciting things. I've got some new stuff to show. I got some new dates to show, and I've got an opportunity for you to participate. And so we're excited to do this. It is Tuesday, July 15th. And on the call, we've got some help. We got my brother and co-founder, Peter. We've got Shannon and Margot. We've got Austin. And all of us are here to answer your questions. You can ask questions on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Zoom, depending on where you are. And those questions can come to me and I can answer them. These are questions about workflow. These are questions about our features. These are questions about pricing. These are questions about what our beliefs are. These are questions about the opportunity to change workflow and make it better and faster and cheaper. And that's the stuff that is driving us here at Strata. So please write your questions as it's happening. I can answer them as we speak. Okay, what we're going to go over today is a few housekeeping things. Then I want to talk a little bit about our problems with clouds, specifically 3 clouds that are problematic for creative professionals. And then we've got some new features. And then we're going to talk about how we can improve some stuff. I'm going to show you a sneak peek. This one's a mistake. This is supposed to be a special test with a guest. That's what that's supposed to be. So there we go. We fixed that. And now we're better. Okay. So we want to invite someone to join us to do a test with us live. And so that's what that's about. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But I want to start with these. These are 3 clouds that I personally used a lot: Dropbox, Google Drive, and Signiant. If you are transferring files using Dropbox or Google Drive or Signiant, or even similar products like Massive or Box, or even LucidLink and Frame.io, if you're using those products to transfer files, you got to try Strata. I'm telling you, it is so much better because these products require you to upload into a cloud. You store in the cloud, you move these files to the cloud, and then you can have someone download them and access them. But there's so many problems with that. 1, you have to upload everything to a cloud. 2, you have to pay to store it in that cloud. And 3, no one can download the files until they've already been uploaded to the cloud. These are all problems. And when you're dealing with video, you're constantly chasing the Dropbox, Google Drive, Signiant. I'm on calls every day with frustrated creative professionals who say, we tried to use Google Drive, now we switched to Dropbox. We tried to use Dropbox, now we switched to Lucid. We tried to use Lucid, now we switched to Signiant. We tried to use Signiant, now we're on Aspera. Aspera is too expensive, so now we're on Massive. And now Massive is too expensive. It's the same thing. Remember, all of the products I just mentioned are clouds. They're all the same. They all have to rent cloud storage, usually from a company like AWS, Amazon, but they have to store those files, and then they have to make those files available. That requires a higher cost. Strata doesn't work that way. We allow you to connect your hard drives, and your hard drives are what you share. This is a glyph drive. I really like these little SSD glyphs. They're really high performance. They're really small, and they got the rubber coating on them. And they're USB-C. And these are the types of drives you can connect. Here's another version. This is a pro grade drive. This drive does 2 gigabytes per second, bus powered, and it's 8 terabytes. And they're making a 16 terabyte version in the same size. These drives are all drives you can connect. Here's another drive. I know on Instagram you can't see this. I'm gonna pan over so you can on Instagram. This is a Blackmagic Ursa Mini. This Blackmagic Ursa Mini, Ursa 12K. This is a 12K LF. This camera here is a drive, right? Because a camera, especially what Blackmagic's doing, is a drive with a lens on it, but it's really just a computer. And what Blackmagic allows you to do, I'll come back to me in the center here. What Blackmagic allows you to do is connect the camera directly to your computer, which you can connect to Strata, because Strata just sees it as a hard drive, and then you're able to share files from a camera to anyone else. Think about that. I can share that camera with any of you, and you can download files off the camera wherever you are. I mean it. Anyone on this call that wants to challenge me on that, and you don't have to have had Strata before. You don't have to have had it at all. If you want to, I'm looking for 2 volunteers, and I will shoot clips in this camera. And if you want to play them back on your computer wherever you are, we will do that. So all you got to do is write in the chat, whatever system you're on, write in the chat. And my brother will reach out to you. So you can either email beta@strata.tech. So you could email beta@strata.tech. Or you could email peter@strata.tech. And if you reach out, sorry, that's so messy. I can't stand it. But there we go. Okay. If you reach out, I will shoot clips. And not only can you watch the files, you can watch them off the camera. You'll be able to manually go through and look at the files on the camera. I can shoot 10 takes. It won't matter. And then if you want to download them, you can download them. And we can make that happen live. So if you're interested in challenging me and trying something totally crazy, sign up for Strata, reach out to Peter. He'll get you connected. And then you'll be able to, in a little bit later, we'll get you set up. You'll be able to play files off the camera. I don't even have to download them first. I don't have to pull a card out of the camera. You can just turn the Blackmagic into a server. And Blackmagic cameras, the newest ones, they are doing some crazy stuff, and they're turning into servers, and you can serve that media directly to an editor. If you're a production company or you're a creative and you need speed, there is no better solution than Blackmagic. Now they have good cameras with great sensors and a lot of price points. They can do large format. They can do 35, but they are servers. You can serve media to your editors, and there's nothing more seamless and fast. It's incredible. So this is really interesting. So we want to invite you to do that. All right, I'll come back to that. But this is what's important. Remember, when we look at drives like this, Dropbox, Google Drive, Frame.io, Signiant, Aspera, Massive, these are all clouds, and you store and you push, and then someone pulls it down. Those are cloud solutions. Strata is not. Strata is a peer-to-peer network. We built a peer-to-peer network that connects your hard drive to anyone else's hard drive. And we don't use a cloud. We had a user yesterday in Europe, and sometimes Europeans are really concerned about where their media is stored. We don't store your media. You store your media. We don't have a copy. It's your copy. There is no cloud. Sometimes people on Instagram say, oh, that's not true. They must be storing it in Strata. I'm telling you the truth. We don't have a cloud to store your video. We don't have it. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. So your media is on your drives, and you share those drives, and people can access your drives. The other benefit to this is when they access a drive, the folder structure is already built. See, in a cloud, you have to make a folder, you have to put files in it, and then you have to invite people to that folder. In Strata, you just invite people to the drive, to the folder on the drive. It's already done. You've already made the folder. You've already populated it with assets. You just invite people. It's like less steps, and there's less cost. It's so easy. So if you're using products like this, you need to try Strata today, and I'm willing to do that live with you right now. Jack B asks, how did the volume connection testing go? How many simultaneous viewers did you get? Jack, I'm so glad you asked, because guess what? The episode that features that just dropped this morning. So here you go, Jack. Special delivery for you. We did the ultimate M3 Ultra test, and it is truly the ultimate test. Most people, I almost want to say all people that test computers, test those computers for how much they can deliver to themselves, right? You have a computer, how much power can you get out of it? What we did is we took a computer and said, how much power can 20 different people get out of it? It's upside down. It's different. It's backwards. And so episode 44 just dropped this morning, and it allows you to learn how many streams can Strata support at the same time. So check this out. I broke the episode down. We got 20 users, and they're all Strata customers. So thank you to the Strata beta users who joined us to do this test. We got 20 people, and we were 40,000 miles of transmission. We were so far apart. If you added up all the transmission distances, it was over 40,000 miles of transmissions. Look at this. We had people in Indonesia, Tahiti, Spain, Greece, Germany. We had people in the UK. We had people in the United States. We had people all over the world, truly all over the world at the same time. And then what I did is we added each person to the Strata account, my account, and we invited them to play back a ProRes 4K file on their computer. And we did it. And then they recorded their screens so that you can see them playing back the file locally wherever they are. And we used one computer to serve 20 people. And if you want to see what happened, you got to go and watch episode 44. So check out episode 44 and then you can see what happened. It's really, really awesome. It unlocks so much. And that's like really, there's a lot of things in this episode that are really exciting, but what's most exciting to me is where this goes. I spend some time in the episode explaining why there are workflow problems with editors, why it's hard to edit remotely, and why you have challenges and why you have to pick and choose workflows. I want to solve that. My team and I, they're right outside the door here. We want to solve that. We want to give you all the benefits of workflows that are going to make it faster and cheaper and easier for cameras and editors to be connected together. And we are already doing that. We're just not done. We got a long way to go. But the first steps are accomplished. Like this test is amazing. And I'm optimistic and I'm happy because you could probably tell the test went pretty good. So you should check out the test and let us know what you think about that. It's on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is the Strata Tech YouTube channel. But you should watch that and check it out. Michael Flotron says, I watched YouTube episode earlier today and the distance was pretty impressive. Yeah, Michael, good to see you again. Thanks for joining again. Yeah, the distance was impressive. I was really impressed with how far it got. And I didn't doctor anything, Michael. Those were all the recordings of these people. But what's really interesting, Michael, is it didn't stop. Like there could be more. So this is interesting, right? It's like it could go more. And then here, just think about this, Michael. If I need people to be honest with me, like how many simultaneous streams do people actually need? Like what is reasonable? Because to me, if you had 20 simultaneous streams on a project, your team would have to be like probably 200 people, right? Like you'd have to have this enormous team because we don't all hit play on assets at the same time. That's not common because someone's playing, someone's not. Someone joins, someone leaves. And it's like, I think 20 simultaneous streams, which is the M3 Ultra, I think that's kind of like an enormous team. I think most teams only need like 3 or 4 streams maybe, right? Like that's probably all people need. I don't know. In teams of 20, if your team is 20 people, how many people actually play back files at exactly the same time? Maybe 5, maybe 6. Like that seems like a lot at exactly the same time. So this information is really valuable to us. Now, let's just say you're like, no. I need 40 people to play back at the same time because I want to have a lot of extra headroom. Well, you could just have 2 computers, right? If you just added a second M3 Studio, then you double the amount of potential playback, right? And someone might say, well, an M3 Studio isn't cheap. Well, if you've got 40 people that need to play back at the same time, you're just what you're paying those people is going to cost you several $1 million a year in payroll, right? So you should have the cash to get an extra computer to serve them. The point is it allows you to connect your drives and it allows us to show scale. And we demonstrated Strata has scaling abilities, which is really cool. And it has a global footprint. And so that's really cool. The fact that we can have Tahiti, Indonesia, and Spain, those are very far apart from each other. These are 10,000-mile distances apart from each other. These are really significant transmissions. And we're talking milliseconds. I mean, this is talking the speed of light, which is really, really good. So we're very, very excited about where this goes. Okay. So did we get some volunteers? I want you to try this. And if you have not signed up for Strata, you're exactly who I'm looking for. I want to shoot files off a camera and I want to connect them to your computer. And then I want to connect you with a feature film, a 200 gigabyte feature film on my hard drive. And I want you to play it back on your computer live. And I want you to do this together. So I want to know, we have Andreas from Bogota, Colombia. Muchas gracias, Andreas. This is great. This is great. From Bogota, Colombia. This is really, really good. So we're going to have Andreas do this. So we're going to get Andreas set up. This is not planned. This is live. And I don't know who Andreas is. And the fact that he's in Bogota is awesome. And so what we're going to have Andreas do is get connected to Strata. And then I'm going to shoot clips on a camera. And Andreas is going to share his screen. So Andreas, my brother's probably helping you, but I'm going to want you to share your screen back to me so that everybody can see that you can actually do this, that clips from a camera can go to Bogota instantly. And it's going to be incredible. So I can see Andreas on here, which is great. So very, very good. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh boy, Pete. Okay. So what I'm going to do, how do I do that? Can you put that in the chat for me, Pete? And send me that. That way I can copy paste that in. Okay. Perfect. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I want to show you this first. Now, how does Strata actually work? Well, let's take a look at this here. We need to look at how Strata works. The first thing you do is you have to go to strata.tech and sign up. And hopefully Andreas is doing that right now. And he's going to sign up at strata.tech. So you go to strata.tech. When you're there, if you're on an Apple Silicon computer, you install an agent. You have to install an agent. Windows is coming. I'll have more information about that a little later. But you install an agent. When you install the agent lives in the top menu bar. And it's the little Strata command icon. And in that icon, you choose which drives you want to share in Strata. And so you start with finding a drive, and then you click it, and then that drive instantly becomes accessible. Then you go into Chrome. Please use Chrome. We've got nothing against Safari except Safari sucks. But other than that, Safari is great. Use Chrome. And then in Chrome, you invite people to your drive, or you invite people to folders on your drive. And that's it. It's so easy. It takes just a couple minutes to get going, which is really, really great. So we need Andreas to sign up for strata.tech. Hopefully he's done that. And what I want to do next is I want to show you my desktop here. Remember here, this is the Strata agent. So you can see the agent here, and I can connect any folder on my file system, my personal file system here, including things like a Dropbox. And then down here, I can connect external drives. Now, I've got the ProGrade drive. This is my LucidLink account, which my LucidLink file space is called Strata. So that's LucidLink. And then this drive here, MM1. You can see MM1 right here. Check this out. If I go to network, hopefully you can all see this. This says Ursa Cine 12K. See that? Ursa Cine 12K. I know it's tiny, but this is the Ursa Cine 12K camera. The camera is connected over Wi-Fi. This is a Wi-Fi connection. So what we are going to do is we are going to shoot clips, and the camera's on Wi-Fi, and Andreas in Bogota, Colombia is going to play back those clips from the camera. I'm not going to download them. I'm not going to take the card out, and Andreas can play them back and download the files directly from the camera. This is crazy technology, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to set up. See, I just connect the MM1 drive here, and once I see it there, I simply select MM1 in Strata. So once I have MM1 in Strata, I now go to Strata, and I can see the MM1 computer here, right? So we see that, and now I'm going to go into the proxy file here, and I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to invite Andreas to that. So I've invited Andreas to the proxy folder of the Blackmagic camera. I've already done that. And that's it. And as soon as I've done that, Andreas can now get the files. Now there's no files yet because I didn't shoot any takes. So let's shoot some takes. This is really cool. Okay. Here is take one. This is take one, Black Magic, shooting in California, sending it to Andreas in Bogota, Colombia. Cut. So I sent one take right there. And if I hit refresh here, you can see there is the take right there in Strata. I already have the take in Strata, and I can play it back. Okay, here is take one. This is take one, Black Magic, shooting in California, sending it to Andreas in Bogota, Colombia. So that should be done. That's already set. I could do a take two. Here is take two. I'm going to pan over and show my little setup right here. And that's take two. And then I'll cut. And then I'll do a take three where we could see some more. Here is take three. Take three. We can see the files playing back on my laptop right here, which is pretty crazy. And then I'll cut it. So hopefully Andreas has been able to connect. And if he's been able
he has an account.
Okay. Well, then can you share? He should be able to share his screen. If I stop sharing my screen, can Andreas share your screen? And let's see if we've transmitted these files successfully. Are you there, Andreas? Can you share your screen? Is that possible? If not, it might be happening. I don't know. Oh, and we got Jack. Is Jack joining as well? There we go. We got Jack here as well. Nice camera, Jack. I like that. That's very good. Okay, who are we looking at here? Are we looking at Jack or are we looking at Andreas here? Oh, I don't know who this is. I can't tell who it is, but it might be Andreas sharing his screen. And
we got Andreas sharing his screen.
Nice.
From very Bogota. Good.
Yeah.
And then we'll invite Jack in a second to your drive.
Just give that a second right there. You might have to widen the browser a little bit. I don't know, Andreas, maybe you have to widen it a little bit. I know it's narrow. That might have an effect there. But yeah, we could see the takes right there. I'm seeing the shots right there. So let's see if the clip establishes right there. Oh, it doesn't want to play back. I don't know if not that. That's a metadata file. This one should work, but connecting to player, I see it at the top right there. Then it disappears. I don't know why it's disappearing for you. But Andreas, if you can right click on that file, right click on the file that says C7. Yep. Are you on a tablet by chance? Could that be what's going on? I think he's on a tablet, Pete. Yes. Okay. So he's on a tablet. I think that might be one of the issues of this workflow right here. Right now, Strata is, he's on an iPad. Strata's not going to work on an iPad just yet. I love that you're trying that. I love that you're pushing it. We're not quite to iPad yet. So we're still getting there. So we're just not quite there yet, unfortunately. So but I see Jack B is on here as well. Is Jack someone I should be inviting to the account?
Yes, I'll send you his email right now.
Great. So Andreas, you discovered something great. You logged in, you got access to the files, but you couldn't play them because it's an iPad. And we don't yet have an iOS app, but we're building one. We're building one. So it will come. So for people like Andreas that want to use iPads, we hear you. And other tablets, Android tablets and stuff, we hear you. We are building that. And so you will have tablet access. Today, it doesn't quite work, but I love that you tried that and you're able to see it almost work, but not quite. Okay, so Jack, we're going to do the same with you. So I'm going to add Jack to the account right here. And now, Jack, if you can share your screen, you should be able to refresh and you're going to see the drive MM1 on your screen, and that will be the camera. I'm going to actually shoot a fourth take here because I can actually see Jack right there. There's Jack right there. This is take 4. There's Jack. I'll hit cut. And here comes Jack's screen. So now we're looking at Jack's screen. This is not my screen. This is Jack's. He sees the proxy folder under shared with me. So Mr. Cioni is my drive. He sees that. And if you click on that last take, the bottom right one, not quite that one, but the one next to it. Yeah. If you play that, I think you're going to see yourself on it because I just shot this take of you. So yeah, play that take right there. And now you'll see, there you are. Like that's a moment ago. And now, Jack, I want you to command select all 4 of those QuickTime movies. So let's command select all 4 of the video film files in there. Yep. And then right click and we'll hit download. You can right click on one of them. Yes. So now what Jack's doing is he is actually establishing a peer-to-peer connection, a drive-to-drive connection, but it's not Jack to my drive. It's Jack to the camera. Jack, you're downloading from the camera. That's the drive you're connected to, which is bonkers. Anyone who considers themselves a tech head, a workflow expert, or unimpressed should be impressed. You should be impressed because this is very different. This is very new, but it's also very practical because if you make productions that are all about speed and quick turnaround, and you have remote teams, Blackmagic's network connection is awesome. There it is. So now Jack's got the files. He's downloading the files. He can see the files there. And now he has files directly from the actual camera. So you can see how powerful this is. It's fast. It's powerful. Awesome, Jack. Excellent. Excellent. Jack, this is a very, very, very cool way to pull these files down. Now, one of the things that you're seeing there is that it's downloading kind of like to your desktop, or you're choosing a destination. We are adding a new feature that I'll show in just a few minutes that allows you to push files. So if I knew, Jack, you wanted these files, I could put them on your drive as opposed to wait for you to have to download them. So that's the next thing that's coming real soon, and I'm going to demonstrate that. But look, what Jack just did, where are you, Jack? Can you tell us where you are physically?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, so not hugely impressive, not 10,000 miles, but yeah.
Not 10,000 miles, but we're not neighbors. And so
No.
Jack's in Phoenix, Arizona. And so he's probably 500 to 500 miles, 600 miles away from Los Angeles. And in that, he's able to get access to these files. Oh, what is going on? Someone, I don't know what that is. Does anyone know what that is? I don't know what that is. Okay. But what Jack's able to do is truly, I think, awesome that he's pulling files from a camera. If you're joining us on Instagram, you probably didn't see this earlier, but I want you to be able to see this. So I got to just like move this file over. But this is the camera. That's a Blackmagic Ursa 12K, and it's connected to Strata over Wi-Fi. There's just Wi-Fi here. There isn't a hardline or anything like that. And it's mounted to Strata over SMB. SMB is a software virtual file system mount. So if I look at my network connections, you can see the Ursa is right there. So I'm going to pan back over here. And this SMB connection right here allows me to share the actual camera media, which is still in the camera, with collaborators. And I go to Strata, I select the media on the Blackmagic camera, and I share it out. And what some of you just saw is I shared that media directly to a stranger in Phoenix who was able to pull the files down, access files, pull them down. Now, we also shared them to a friend named Andreas in Bogota, Colombia, but he was on an iPad, and we don't have an iPad app yet. So if Andreas logged into a laptop, even a Windows machine, it could be Chrome on a Windows box, he would be able to see the files and download the files. And so, Andreas, you could still do that and just prove it out because you have access to this. So the point is, this was really good. I want to thank Andreas for being a good player. Jack, thank you so much for doing that. It's always scary when you're doing this live and you're like saying, let's try something we've never tried before with a stranger we don't know. But it's so satisfying when it works. And so I'm so thankful because you have to take a risk to put yourself out there. I'm not the type of person that would be on a live Instagram and YouTube and then say, sure, I'll share my screen with strangers. You guys have courage. Andreas, Jack, thank you. Hats off to you. I salute you. That is courage itself. But hopefully people recognize that Strata has courage. We have courage because we're willing to put our tech on the line and demonstrate really powerful workflow transmissions and workflows. Basically, we're really excited about showing those kind of workflows with people. And I love doing that. So that's pretty awesome. Seth on Instagram says, with the Blackmagic workflow, where is the source of truth for that take? Look, this is something that my brother always points out. We don't believe there is a source of truth. It's like people always say, the reason I like clouds is it's a single source of truth, but it isn't, because as soon as somebody makes a new file, a new render, a new output, they compose a new song, they make a new poster, there's new text, new titles, new animations. Every time there's something new, all those people, where is the single source of truth? There isn't one. It's a myth. The only way there can be a single source of truth is if everything's on OneDrive and nobody makes anything new. And that doesn't happen. People are constantly creating. That's what we do. We work as teams, we create. So I'm not sure, Seth, there is a single source of truth. And I'm not sure that finding one matters. What we want to build is a solution that doesn't require a single source of truth. Do you get it? It shouldn't matter. If you have 10 people and they all have laptops and ProGrade drives and Glyph drives and OWC drives, then so what? Just connect them together. Look at my Strata account. My Strata account has all of these computers. A lot of them are offline, but because they're not being used right now. But all of these computers are connected. Look how big this list is. All of these people can create files, and I can access them and share them, and they don't have to be on my network. They don't have to be on my NAS. They don't have to be on my hard drive. They don't have to be on my property. That's what we're after. A federated way of collaboration, not a single source of truth. It's not required, not a singular way. And that's the difference of what we're kind of going after. So it is a different type of thought. It's a different type of workflow. But it's very powerful and it's very liberating and it's very cool. But then Seth says, but the file you streamed live, yeah. Oh, it lived in the camera. Yeah, it lived in the camera. So is the camera the single source of truth? Maybe, but it only is for a moment. When that media is somewhere else, it can be a source of truth. When the media goes to Jack or Andreas, it's the source of truth there. See, it doesn't really matter. That's our belief. It's like we shouldn't be fighting to try to put everything on one system. That's the thing that's failing us. Because if you try to put everything on one system, you're always going to have to keep adding more and more storage to it. And you're always going to have costs associated with that. You always have to move files to it and make copies and duplicates. With Strata, you shouldn't need to make as many copies and duplicates. You shouldn't have to move as many files in order to access them. But just to be clear for people watching, that file was in the camera. What Jack played back from the camera in Phoenix, Arizona, 500 miles away from me. That's real. That's real. And Jack set it up in a minute, 2 minutes. Like, this was live. Anybody can do that. Chris Wilson's, from Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, or is it Karis? Karis Wilson from Trinidad. That was crazy. Very good. Thank you. That means I can remotely check the takes directly from the camera. And if it's good, keep it. If it's bad, tell them to delete it and reshoot almost real time from anywhere in the world. Karis, that's exactly what it means. I'm not exaggerating. That's exactly what it means. And you could do that with hotspot internet. You don't need to have gigabit internet. I'm doing this off of Wi-Fi. You could do this off of a phone hotspot for real. And you could watch the takes and you can transfer the takes. Most importantly, you can transfer it. Remember, Jack pulled the takes down. One of the things I love about Blackmagic is that they shoot RAW files and proxy files, and the proxy files are H.264. They're small. They're 10 megabits. They look good, but they're tiny, and they're automatic, and you can burn the LUT into those proxy files. So you can shoot log with BRAW, and you can shoot gamma-corrected LUT with H.264, and you just transfer the H.264, and then you can edit. You can watch, you can read, you can transcribe, you can do all that stuff, and you can do it off of a hotspot. That's why Blackmagic is going to catapult. I predict Blackmagic is going to catapult ahead, not because they make the best camera, but because their cameras work better than everybody else. See, I used to say this. I used to work at the company Panavision, and I used to say the future of cameras is not how they look, it's how they work. Because all cameras are starting to look good. And I noticed that in 2016, 17, 18, when I was working on a product called the DXL for Panavision. This product was amazing. The camera's amazing. I'm using one right now. This is a DXL right here. But I realized that the future of cameras isn't about look, because all the looks are getting similar. They're all great. Like, how much better is a Sony Venice from a Sony FX3? Not that much. But a Sony Venice is 30 times more expensive, right? But the quality isn't 30 times better. Nobody would say that, right? Look at what Oren Sofer did with Greg Fraser on The Creator. If you haven't seen it, watch the trailer for the movie The Creator. What Oren Sofer and Greg Fraser did on that, it's FX3. If they can make that movie look that good on FX3, you don't need a Venice, period. And so that's why you want a camera that works better, not just looks better. And we got to get over that, people, a little bit. Blackmagic has great sensors now. And there's a lot of things about Blackmagic cameras I don't like, I'll be honest. But I do like their workflow. And that's what we're talking about today. Alpia Ches on Instagram. I'm sorry, Alpia, if I say this wrong. Alpia Ches. Does that workflow you demonstrated work with Sony cameras? I don't know. I need Sony to give me some cameras to test. Sony does not have an SMB mount as easy as the way the Blackmagic does. So can we do it with Sony? Maybe. Sony always does things the hard way. But here's what you can do for sure. Alpia Ches, you can take the card out of the Sony, and you can put the card right in your computer, and then you can share the files off the card into Strata. Remember, if this was the camera card right here, this little ProGrade drive, if that was the camera card mounted to my computer, I could just go up to Strata, and then I could say, connect that card. And the card can then instantly serve. Now, I can tell you, FX3 files, they work in Strata natively. Check this out. If I go here, and I go to test footage, and I go to codecs, this is from an FX3. So this is ABC Intra, MXF. You can see that. It's MXF files, and Strata plays that back natively. So we can play back MXF media natively from most Sony cameras, FS7, FX9, FS3, FX30, the new FX2, that all works. So you can do that. While we're at it, we can also play back Avid files. So here is Avid DNX. So you can see this is DNX 444, DNX HR. So this is Avid media. And now I'm playing back Avid media in Strata. No transcode, no conversion. This is Avid media native as an MXF file. You can do that. So these are important workflow solutions that can be used. Okay, moving on a little bit. We did that. So what we want to do is we want to talk about some new features that are coming out. So what are our new upcoming features? Well, we've got some new features coming, and I want to give you our projection on the dates. I need to check Slack real quick and see if I got a message from our lead engineer here.
So Michael, you weren't sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Thank you. I guess I forgot to do that after. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Thanks for the reminder after all that transmission. Boy, you should have reminded me sooner. I just did some demos. Okay, I got to go backwards. I feel stupid now. This is Avid DNX. I thought I was sharing my screen. I was not sharing my screen. This is Avid DNX playing back natively. So there it is. And that's native. And then if I go back and here is the MXF. So you can see here, this is MXF from a Sony FX3. This is the native Sony codec, and we can play that back. So I'm repeating myself, but I thought I was sharing my screen. So there's the answer there. There we go. Okay, so now what are the next features that are coming? We have 3 major features that are coming, and I didn't get a Slack from, I don't think, I'm checking my Slack right now. I don't think I got a note from engineering, but I believe I'm doing my best here to get this information to you. So number 1, we're trying to get Windows out as soon as possible. So Windows is very close. We're going to try to do that this week, but we are doing our best. So every day we uncover new challenges and we have to solve them. So we appreciate your patience, but Agents for Windows is right around the corner. I promise it is our top priority, and we are very close to delivering it. It is working. It's just going to take a little bit more time. So if you're a Windows user, please join our Discord. Pete, you could put an invitation in the chat for our Discord. You could join our Discord if you want to be a beta tester for Strata. And we want to get you on the Windows test. It's coming very soon. But that means, and it's working right here. If you look closely here, you can see this is actually a Windows computer connected to Strata, sharing files. So this is really important that we can do that. Number 2, this is a big one. If you work with clients, you're going to want to share files, but you don't necessarily want them to be downloaded, right? So check this out. Here, with the new update, you'll be able to control who has view access and download access. That means you can invite people to a drive, and if you only want them to see the files, they can't download them. So that's the next big permissions update. We're trying to get that out by Friday. So that's our goal. We're going to try to do that. This is really important. So we're being honest here, and we are trying to make this all happen by Friday. We've been working on it for the last 6 weeks, these features, and it's pretty important. Okay, and so then the next one is my favorite, agent to agent transmission. So Jack, if you're still watching, I mentioned this earlier where you can push files, and I want to actually demonstrate that to you. So I want to show you how this actually works. So normally when we did transmissions with other people, if you recall, you can go to a file. I'm going to have to do a little adjustment here. Bear with me. There we go. Okay. So normally in Strata, if you invite someone to a drive, they can go into that drive. Remember, we were looking at these proxy files, and I could see the proxy files, and I could select them and say download. And now I select download, and now the files are going to transfer, and I'm pulling those files directly off the camera, and I'm moving them to my computer. So that's how Strata works today, is a peer-to-peer connection, drive to drive or camera to drive, and you download. But what we're adding right now, what we're adding today, which is so exciting, is we're adding the ability to push files. So check this out. If I wanted to, I'm going to cancel this right now. I don't need it. If I want to take these files and I want to move them, I can click copy to. So I'm going to hit copy to, and it opens up a panel, and now I can go to a completely different computer. So here's an empty folder. Now look, on the left here, this is my laptop, Mr. Cioni, okay? And the files were on the camera, but I'm going to move those files onto a completely different computer that's not mine. I do not have this M3 Studio with me. I'm on a laptop right here. I'll show you. There it is. This is the laptop I'm using to drive our conversation today. I'm going to go to the Thunderblade here, and I see a folder called transfers, and I'm going to say copy here. When I click that, it's now going to move these files directly to a completely different drive. Now think about that. That means if you are a DIT or a data manager or an assistant editor or even a post-production company, you can take the files either from a camera or raw files or dailies or rushes, and you can deliver them directly to the hard drives of your collaborators, your editor, your VFX people, your music composers, your everybody. You can deliver the files to them. So if I go to the Thunderblade and I look at the transfers, you can see the files are now there. See, this is a different computer. This is the M3 Thunderblade transfers, and there they are there. So I can move these files to another computer. I'll do it again. I go here, I go into proxy. I'm going to grab these two files. I'm going to say copy, and now I will add them to this directory, and now it will add those files into the transfers folder. I actually think one of those files was a duplicate. Yeah, so I can take these files and move them there. So this is a push experience. It's agent to agent. The only way this works is if there's an agent on both ends. And so you need to have an agent on the send and the receive, and you're pushing the files there. But it's so powerful because you get invited to a destination. And if you're invited to that directory, you could just put files on there. So think about this. You could certainly use this to deliver files to an editor. And when the editor wakes up and goes to work, the files are already on their computer. If you could do this to LucidLink, you could put these on LucidLink. You could put these on a RAID, a NAS, a Synology. You can really be very clever with how to push files agent to agent. So it's very, very popular and very, very powerful. And we're really, really excited about how that's going to work. So this is a really exciting way to see how this is going to work. There it is. There's the file. I'm now playing the file back off. Now imagine this. This file went from a camera to a Ultra Studio, and now I'm playing it on my laptop. This is collaboration. And this, to Seth's question earlier, it's like, what's the single source of truth? I don't even know. I've lost track. Who cares? Right? It's like, it's where the file is, where it's convenient to me. Use it, play it, experience it, do your job, right? It shouldn't matter. And too many editors, too many directors, too many producers, too many creative people are waiting for files to be transferred to them. And we don't want you to have to do that. So we built something totally radical, totally different, with a peer-to-peer network that doesn't rely on the cloud. So it's very, very cool. So remember, we've got agent to agent. We're trying to get this out by Friday. It's very soon, which is why you should sign up for Strata today if you haven't already. And you should start really getting to use it, because agent to agent is going to be big. Then we're going to be also releasing invite permissions, so you can control invites with downloads versus invites with view only. So that's coming. And then we're going to be trying to release Windows as soon as possible. Could be this week, might be next week, but we're working as hard as we can. Please, we're being honest with you. We're trying to get this stuff done. We work very hard on this. The team is amazing, and they're doing great work. We're just not quite there yet, but it's close. And so we want you to know how close we are. Look, I think we all are getting these, right? You're all getting these messages. Your Dropbox is full, your Google Drive is full, your iCloud's full, your Frame.io is full. And these things, we had a client yesterday that just said, my LucidLink account just balloons out of control when we add files to it, and the bill just balloons. There is no storage with Strata. It's your storage. I just have to keep saying that because people don't get it. It's your storage. So you're not going to get a bill from us to store files. So it can't balloon. It's so much simpler, and it's so much less expensive. And we don't want you to have to keep paying and adding terabyte by terabyte by terabyte month after month after month. And we don't want it to upload that all the time. Kara says, I know Strata is still in its infancy, but I'd love to see a transfer dialog when transferring agent to agent, or possibly a notification when it's completed. That's going to be part of the release. So when I do that here, if I do that here, you can see I get I can download files and I get a progress bar. And so that transfer can happen, but you will get the transfer information and feedback. And we are going to be allowing you to understand when something's being pulled off your computer, so that you know that a transfer is happening. So we're doing all that feedback, and we're making that possible. So Karis, that's going to be part of it. Absolutely. Look, if you're like me, you are only saving a little bit of your files in the cloud. Most of your files are not accessible, and you are putting maybe 10% of your files in Frame.io or Dropbox or Box or WeTransfer or LucidLink. You maybe have 10% of your files there. We want you to have access to 100% of your media. Strata lets you connect all of your drives. You can connect a dozen drives to a dozen people, and it's really incredible. Now you can connect a dozen drives to a dozen people, and how much does that cost? Well, what I showed today in our first demonstration with Jack and Andreas and stuff is free. That's free. You can connect drives. You can invite people. You can share those files. Everything I did with the transmission of these Blackmagic files is free. The only limitation to the free account is how big each transfer can be. You can download and transfer unlimited files that are 2 gigabytes or smaller. The free plan is great for documents. It's great for photos. It's great for proxy files because most proxy files are smaller than 2 gigabytes. Really small proxies. That's the free plan. But if you go to the paid plan, which is $12 a month, you have unlimited transfers of up to 200 gigabytes per file. So you could transfer 10 terabytes for $12 a month with Strata. You cannot do that with any other transfer product. WeTransfer, LucidLink, Dropbox, Google Drive. You can't do 10 terabytes of access for $12, but in Strata you can. So Strata is the least expensive by a huge amount because we allow you to have unlimited transfers, unlimited access. Your files just have to be smaller than 200 gigabytes. If you have raw files that are 500 gigabytes or really big files, then you need to pay for the unlimited file size. That's only for people that really have huge files. Like you have high-speed internet, really good internet, and you want to put raw files and move raw files across the ocean. Then you would need $24 a month to get you the unlimited plan. But most people, for $12 a month, you could do as many transfers as you want, up to 200 gigabytes per file. That's really, really good. So Nai Saudia says, I already tried yesterday and downloaded from a different computer, but when I downloaded multiple files with a total size of 10 gigabytes, it didn't work. The download stopped at 6. That's because we have not released the agent to agent yet. So Nai, you need to, we need to get you on this product Friday, the agent to agent experience, because the reason it failed is because your web browser failed. The Strata didn't fail. The web browser failed. When you're doing the transfers today, you're using the browser to transfer. When you push agent to agent, you're using Strata's agent to do the transfer, which is an application. So we can manage the transfer better. And that's how we're able to do files that are 200 gigabytes. And I want to be really honest with you. I personally have tested this, and I can personally move files that are 200 gigabytes back and forth all over the country. I can do it. I can even do it when there's network interruptions. I can do it when the internet goes down, and I can do it if I have to shut it off and restart it. For example, if you're in one location and you've transferred half the file and then you have to move, you can pick up the file at a new location and it will restart where it left off. It does not start over. The web browsers cannot do that. So Nai, I'm sorry your files didn't finish, but you need agent to agent transfers for big files because the web can only do 2 giga. That's also the reason the free account, the web can't do 200 gigabytes. It can barely do 10. It doesn't do that well. So if you want to transfer a lot of files on the free plan, they're limited to 2 gigabytes, but agent to agent is what you're going to want. And then you won't have any problems. I promise. Helge on YouTube says, the way Strata Agent works, it forces everyone to be online at the same time. How has this been received? It's definitely a new way of working. Yes and no. Yes and no. So Helge, I'll tell you that when I'm working with media that is on a large RAID, that large RAID, I connect to a computer that we never turn off. So if you look at my Strata account, let's see here. This Studio, this M3 Ultra, is connected to my Thunder Bay. My Thunder Bay has 132 terabytes of footage. Look at how deep these folders go, how big the files are. Look, I'm going into a red raw file here, and this is a 200 gigabyte log file. So this is a really good example of this. So you can see this is a huge, long 30-minute file of right from the camera in log. You can see that's obviously in log. So if it's a computer that everyone's going to need a lot of media from, then you leave that computer on and you make that like a studio and you connect it and you don't turn it off. If it's people's laptops and you're sharing things, think of it like AirDrop. When you're doing AirDrop, you move files back and forth all the time. That's when people are active. That's when they're working. That's during the time they're working. And so people are understanding that. And then they, and also there's one little trick you can do. When your computer's asleep, if it's the laptop, if I type wake, there's a little button here in your battery settings, and it says wake for network access. If you allow your computer to be woken when someone requests something, it'll do it. It doesn't have to be awake or unlocked for Strata to be able to give someone a file. So you can go through those settings, Helge, and that should help you make it really efficient. By the way, Helge, you're also asking, how has it been received? Strata is really fast and really cheap. So it's received very well because this new way of working is necessary. If someone says, I can't work the Strata way, I can't have my computer on all the time. Okay, well then upload everything to Dropbox and pay them a fortune forever. Go ahead, right? Because you're going to shoot petabytes of footage over your career. Where are you going to put it? The cloud? Go ahead. Then you're going to be paying thousands, tens of thousands of dollars over time. With Strata, I've connected 250 terabytes, a quarter of a petabyte of storage is just in my house, and it cost me nothing. So it's really cool. JS on YouTube says, a month ago, you said it didn't make sense to pay for life-size caps because we, the users, are providing bandwidth. Why are there no file size caps for different subscription tiers? So the subscription tiers, you might be referring to the footprint size of your storage. We don't govern how much storage you can connect. I want to be clear, JS. You can connect as much as you want, So there should be no cap on how much media you can connect to Strata. You can connect a petabyte of storage, 10 petabytes of storage. It doesn't matter. And it can be a dozen drives, and you should be able to invite a whole bunch of people. So the only thing that we're changing, or the only thing that has to happen, is we have to be able to charge for this product. And we, when we use the browser to transfer files, we have to pay. It's expensive for us to allow you to transfer for the files. So we have to build the transfer network, and you pay to use our transfer network to ensure the files move and are transferred. But they're unlimited. You can move as many as you want, right? Like you can move as many as you want. So it's still unlimited. You just have to pay to use our network to do that transmission. And so hopefully you understand, and hopefully you understand that we need to make money on this so that we can build more features for you. But the pricing is always going to change, and we're always listening to people's feedback. But to be clear, you can connect as much as you want, as much storage as you want, and transfer as much as you want. You just have to pay to transfer large files, but you don't have to pay to view them. You can have someone can watch a terabyte or 10 terabytes of footage on the free plan. That's totally fine. You can watch whatever you want and do that. So let's see here. And then the Stubborn Rock on YouTube says, can you raise the transfer file size of the free tier to 10 gigabytes? According to your website, it's 2 gigabytes. No, we can't. We have to make a living here, Stubborn Rock. And we need to have we need you to be on the paid plan in order to move large files. If everybody could just move every single file they need on the free tier, we couldn't earn a living, and we'd have to shut this whole thing down. So nobody gets it. Nobody wins if Strata is free forever. It can't work. I can't build it. And we're financing this ourselves. We're bootstrapping this ourselves. It's incredibly expensive, and the tech we're building is incredibly unique and powerful. And so if you're a creative professional, and I want to challenge you a little bit, if you're a creative professional, you should be able to make 50 cents a day work, $12 a month, to move a petabyte of footage or a terabyte or even 500 gigs, whatever. That should be able to be worked into your plan with your communicators. And if it's not, please help us understand that. Because we transfer Dropbox, Google Drive, Signiant, Frame.io, Aspera. They're massive. They're all more expensive than that. So how are you doing it today? How do you move 500 gigs of files today, if not for $12, right? So we want to hear that. So we are learning, and we are listening to you, and we love the feedback, and we love the insight. And the best place to give us more feedback and insight is to join our Discord. So we want to invite you to join our Discord, and then you can communicate with us in real time, and we can chat. So that'll be in the chat. And then I want to remind everyone, please watch episode 44. It's amazing. If you don't think it's worth $12 a month to pay for what this product does, watch this episode, and you'll be blown away at what Strata is doing. And we're just getting going. There is a huge hint, a huge tease in episode 44 of where we're going. And if you can pick up on where we're going, you'll see where this goes. It's huge. It's awesome. It's powerful, and it's going to save you time, and it's going to improve creative control. And that's really what we're here to do. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of today. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Andreas, for doing a live demonstration with us. We really appreciate you. Good to see everybody. We are always available. You can reach out to us. I think our emails are all here as well. If you need to reach out to us, that's how you can find us. We're very transparent. We're very available. And of course, my email is michael@strata.tech. Feel free to reach out anytime if you need to get a hold of me. I'm here. I'm happy to do it. So with that, everybody, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you online. Bye-bye.